The day the aliens came was like any other Tuesday. Dr. Handai sat in his small lab at the Korea Advanced Defense Institute, staring at test results from his latest project. He rubbed his tired eyes, reaching for his third cup of coffee, when all the screens in his lab suddenly went black. Then they turned blue. Every screen showed the same message. Emergency BROETCAST. UN Security Council. Han's phone rang. It was a direct call from the defense minister. Dr. Han, turn on the news. Then pack your bags. We need you in New York in 10 hours. Before he could ask why, the minister hung up. Han switched on the wall-mounted TV, and his coffee cup slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. He didn't even notice. A massive fleet of ships hung in space near the moon. They were dark purple, shaped like arrowheads, and there were hundreds of them. The biggest ship was the size of a small city. At the same time, in her small workshop in Seoul, Kim Sun was also watching the news. But unlike most people who were panicking, she was taking notes. As a military engineer who specialized in adapting civilian technology for defense purposes, something caught her eye about the alien ships. Their energy signatures. They were visible even in amateur telescope footage, pulsing in a strange but regular pattern. Kim Sun had seen something similar before, in her kitchen of all places. The world learned about the aliens calling themselves the Void Collective 3 hours later. They hijacked every communication channel on Earth. Their message was simple: surrender or be destroyed. The UN Security Council gathered for an emergency meeting. Dr. Handai arrived just in time, his presentation ready. The aliens' technology is advanced, he told the room full of world leaders, but it follows patterns we can understand. Their energy signatures match certain frequencies we use in everyday electronics. Before he could finish explaining, news arrived that the aliens had destroyed 3 uninhabited islands in the Pacific Ocean. It was a show of force. The message was clear: they could do this to cities next. But Kim Sun had already figured something out. In her workshop, she stared at her microwave, then at her computer showing the alien energy signatures. "They're the same," she whispered. The frequency the aliens used to power their weapons matched the frequency in common household appliances. She grabbed her phone and called Dr. Han. She didn't expect him to answer, but he did. "Dr. Han, this is Kim Sun from the Military Engineering Division. You need to hear this. The aliens' weapon signatures, they match our kitchen appliances." There was a long pause. Then Han spoke quickly. "Meet me at the UN. I'm sending a plane for you. Bring your microwave." 24 hours after first contact, while world leaders argued about whether to surrender, Kim Sun stood in a UN laboratory. She had connected her microwave to a military-grade power supply. Dr. Han watched as she pointed it at a test target. "The aliens use this same frequency for their shield technology," she explained. "They probably think it's too weak to be a threat. But if we boost the power..." She pressed the button. The microwave hummed, then fired a blast that melted straight through 3 feet of steel. "Their shields won't stop this," Han said, his eyes wide. "They're designed to block advanced weapons, not kitchen appliances." Kim nodded. "And that's just a microwave. Think about what we could do with other everyday items. Everything electronic has potential. We can turn our whole civilization into a weapon." As if to emphasize her point, alarms began blaring. The aliens had launched their first ground attack in northern Canada. Military weapons bounced off their shields. Tanks and jets did nothing. But Kim Sun was already making a list. Microwaves, washing machines, gaming consoles, even electric toothbrushes. Everything could be modified. Everything could be a weapon. Dr. Han looked at the molten hole in the test target, then at his phone showing footage of the alien attack. He smiled for the first time since the ships appeared. "They think we're primitive," he said. "They think we'll be easy to conquer. But they don't understand something important about humans." Kim Sun finished his thought. We can turn anything into a weapon, and we have billions of everyday items they've never even thought about. In Canada, the aliens were advancing. But in that UN lab, humanity had just discovered how to fight back. The real war was about to begin. Song Mai was only 16, but she knew games better than anyone. While other kids played for fun, she studied game systems and wrote code. Now, as she stared at her gaming console, she saw something nobody else had noticed. The aliens used the same type of signals as our wireless controllers. She told her online gaming friends through her headset. Look at the pattern when their ships fly over. Her bedroom window showed the purple glow of alien ships passing above Seoul. The light pulsed in a steady beat, just like her controller's sync light. Downstairs, her parents watched the news. The kitchen brigade had destroyed more alien walkers, but the aliens were learning. They started jamming kitchen appliance signals. Humanity needed new weapons. Song Mai unplugged her gaming console and carried it to her desk. She had already taken apart 3 controllers, studying their parts. Years of modding games had taught her how electronics worked. Her phone buzzed. It was Kim's son, the military engineer who had started the kitchen appliance resistance. Song Mai had emailed her about the gaming controllers 2 days ago, not expecting a reply. "Can you prove what you told me about the controllers?" Kim's son asked. "Better," Song Mai answered. "I can show you how to turn every gaming console in the city into an EMP weapon." 30 minutes later, a military car picked up Song Mai. Her parents worried, but she promised she would be careful. The car took her to Lee Jin's restaurant, now a secret weapon lab. Dr. Han Dai and Kim's son waited inside with Lee Jin. Gaming consoles and controllers covered the tables instead of food. "Show us," Dr. Han said. Song Mai pulled out her modified console. Gaming systems need to connect wirelessly to controllers from far away. The signal has to be strong, but not dangerous to humans. The aliens use almost the same frequency for their small ships. She opened her laptop, showing them the code she had written. "I changed the console's programming. Now it sends out the connection signal super strong, all at once, like an electromagnetic pulse. Will it work through their shields?" Kim's son asked. "That's the best part," Song Mai grinned. "Their shields don't block it because it looks just like regular gaming signals. To them, it's background noise." They tested it that night. An alien scout ship flew over the restaurant. Song Mai pressed the power button on her modified console. The ship's lights flickered, then went dark. It dropped from the sky like a rock. "How many gaming consoles are in Seoul?" Dr. Han asked, just like he had asked about pressure cookers. "Millions," Song Mai answered, "and more in PC cafes." The next day, they started the gaming guard. Song Mai taught other teens how to modify consoles and write the special code. Gaming cafes became secret weapon factories. Every PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo system became a potential alien ship killer. The aliens couldn't understand what was happening. Their scanners looked for military weapons, but these were just toys. Their strategy computers couldn't predict attacks because they came from kids' bedrooms and gaming cafes. Song Mai kept improving the weapons. She found that different consoles could do different things. Old Nintendo systems could jam alien communications. PlayStations could shut down their engines. Xbox systems could scramble their targeting computers. "Why can't they stop us?" she asked Kim's son one day, while teaching more gamers how to modify their systems. "Because they think like machines," Kim's son explained. "They expect weapons to look like weapons. They can't understand that anything can be a weapon if you're creative enough." The aliens had started avoiding Seoul. Too many of their ships had fallen to mysterious failures. They didn't know that teenagers with gaming consoles were their worst nightmare. In her new lab at the restaurant, Song Mai looked at her old gaming console with pride. She had never won a real game championship, but she was winning something much more important now. "Game over, aliens," she whispered. as another modified console powered up. Yunhua loved her garden more than anything. Even when alien ships filled the sky, she still tended her plants every morning. At 70 years old, she had spent decades studying plants and teaching botany. Now, her knowledge would help save the world. She first noticed something strange when an alien scout ship flew too low over her garden. All her plants turned toward it, like they were following the sun. But there was no sun that day, only purple alien engines. Yunhua took samples of her plants to her small greenhouse. Years of teaching science had taught her to observe carefully. She noticed that the fertilizer she used made her plants react to alien energy. She called her old friend Dr. Handai at the defense lab. "The alien ships affect my plants," she said, "and I think I know why." The next day, Kim Sun and Dr. Han visited Yunhua's garden. Song Mei came too, carrying scanning equipment she had made from gaming parts. "The fertilizer has special minerals," Yunhua explained, showing them her plants. "When alien energy hits these minerals, the plants grow very fast. Too fast." She pointed to a tree near her fence. An alien ship had passed over it yesterday. The tree had grown 5 new branches overnight, all pointing toward where the ship had been. "Can you make the plants grow where you want?" Kim Sun asked. Yunhua smiled. "Better. I can make them grow into any shape we need, and the aliens won't see it coming." They started work that day. Yunhua mixed special fertilizers while Song Mei used her scanners to measure alien energy patterns. Kim Sun helped design growing frames to guide the plants. They tested their idea in Yunhua's garden. When a small alien ship flew over, the plants grew so fast they wrapped around it like giant green fingers. The ship crashed in minutes. "Every garden in the city can become a trap," Yunhua said. "We just need to teach people how to mix the right fertilizer." They called it the Garden Defense Network. Yunhua taught other gardeners her secrets. Soon, every park and garden in Seoul had plants ready to attack alien ships. The aliens couldn't understand what was happening. Their scans showed only normal gardens, but when their ships got close, the plants would grow instantly, trapping them in strong vines and branches. Li Jin from the kitchen brigade helped too. He showed how composting bins could be turned into fertilizer mixing stations. The gaming guard added their technology, using modified consoles to make the plants grow even faster. "Why do the plants only attack alien ships?" Song Mei asked one day, watching Yunhua mix fertilizer. "Plants are smarter than people think," Yunhua answered. "They know what helps them grow and what hurts them. The aliens' energy hurts them, so they fight back." The aliens started bombing gardens from high up, but that only spread the special fertilizer further. Every bomb made the plants stronger. Soon, the aliens couldn't fly low over any green space. Dr. Han watched as another alien ship was caught by Yunhua's plants. "First kitchens, then games, now gardens," he said. "Is there anything we can't turn into a weapon?" "Everything on Earth can protect Earth," Yunhua said, patting a large flower. "We just need to understand how." In her greenhouse, Yunhua looked at her newest creation. Plants that could grow hard shells strong enough to stop alien weapons. Soon, every garden would be a fortress. She smiled as she watered them. All her life, she had taught students about the power of plants. Now she was teaching aliens the same lesson, but in a very different way. "Grow well," she told her plants. "Our world needs you." Song Mai sat in her new command center, which used to be an internet cafe. Screens covered the walls, each showing different parts of the city. Her online gaming friends, now part of her cyber team, worked at computers around her. "The aliens are using a new communication signal," she said, pointing to her main screen. "But it looks a lot like our phone signals." Kim Sun stood behind her, watching the patterns on the screen. "Can we use that?" "Already working on it." Song Mei held up her phone. "I modified this to copy their signals. When they talk to each other, we can listen." They had learned that the aliens relied heavily on computer networks. just like humans. But the aliens never thought humans could hack their systems. After all, human technology was supposed to be primitive. Show them what primitive can do, Sci-Fi told her team. They all pulled out their phones and started typing. Across the city, thousands of modified phones connected to the alien network. The aliens used complex codes, but they weren't ready for thousands of gamers who had years of experience breaking game codes. "We're in their system," one of Sci-Fi's friends announced. "They're planning to attack the Garden Defense Network tomorrow." Sci-Fi smiled. "Let's give them some new orders instead." They used the alien network to send fake commands. Alien ships flew in circles, went to wrong locations, or retreated from battles that weren't happening. The aliens couldn't understand why their perfect system was failing. Dr. Han visited the command center to see their work. "Can you do more than just listen and send fake orders?" he asked. "Watch this," Sci-Fi said. She picked up a small drone, the kind people use to take pictures. We modified it with parts from old phones. She flew the drone outside. An alien ship passed overhead, and the drone followed it. Instead of taking pictures, the drone copied the ship's control signals. "Every drone in the city can do this now," she explained. "When they copy alien signals, they confuse the alien ship's computers. The ships think they're getting orders from their commanders, but they're really getting orders from our drones." The alien ship above them suddenly turned around and flew away from the city. "How many drones are in Seoul?" Dr. Han asked, smiling. He already knew asking this question always led to good news. "Thousands," Sci-Fi answered. "And people are modifying more every day. Regular delivery drones, camera drones, even toy drones, they all work." The aliens tried to block human signals, but that only made things worse for them. Their ships needed those signals to communicate. When they blocked human signals, they blocked their own ships too. Yunhua from the Garden Defense Network helped by growing special plants that could hide their transmission equipment. Li Jin from the Kitchen Brigade provided safe places for Sci-Fi's teams to work. "The aliens thought our technology was weak," Kim Sun said, watching another alien ship get confused by their signals. "They didn't know that simple technology can be the most powerful." Sci-Fi's phone buzzed with messages from other gaming teams around the city. Everyone was working together now. Grandparents shared their phones with teenage hackers. Parents let kids turn family tablets into alien ship trackers. "Their biggest mistake," Sci-Fi said, "was thinking that because our technology looks simple, it can't be clever." In the command center, her team celebrated as another group of alien ships retreated. On their screens, they could see confused alien commanders trying to figure out why nothing worked right anymore. Sci-Fi looked at her phone, then at the modified drone, and smiled. The aliens had amazing technology, but they were about to learn that Earth's primitive technology had some surprises for them. Kim Sun stood in Seoul's largest shopping mall, looking at store signs instead of alien ships. This mall would become their biggest weapon yet. The aliens were planning a major attack, and she had a plan to surprise them. "Each store has something we can use," she told Dr. Han and her team. "We just need to think differently about everything we see." Li Jin walked past the food court, marking places for his kitchen brigade to set up. Sci-Fi checked the electronics stores, planning where to put her gaming systems. Yunhua studied the garden center on the top floor. "They'll attack tomorrow," Sci-Fi said, checking her phone. "Their ships are already moving into position." "Then we better hurry," Kim Sun replied. "Everyone knows what to do." They worked all night. The sporting goods store became a weapons center. Tennis ball machines were modified to shoot special metal balls that could crack alien armor. Exercise equipment became power generators for their weapons. The beauty supply store turned into a chemical lab. Hairsprays and nail polish removers became fuel for makeshift flamethrowers. Perfume bottles were filled with liquids that could short-circuit alien suits. In the toy store, remote control cars carried small explosives. Toy drones joined Sci-Fi's Air Force. Even the stuffed animals had a job. They hid sensors that could track alien movements. The aliens won't expect this, Dr. Han said, watching everyone work. They think malls are just for shopping. The next morning, the alien attack began. 3 huge ships appeared above the mall. Smaller fighter ships flew around them. Ground troops marched toward the entrance. Let them come inside, Kim Sun told everyone through their phones. The mall is ready. The aliens entered, weapons ready, but their sensors showed nothing dangerous, just an empty shopping mall. Then the battle started. Tennis balls filled with Yunhua's special plant fertilizer shot from the sports store, covering alien troops in fast-growing vines. The kitchen brigade's modified food court equipment sprayed superheated cooking oil that melted through alien armor. The beauty store attack caught them completely by surprise. Clouds of hairspray and perfume shorted out their breathing systems. Their armor started to rust from nail polish remover. Songmi's gaming consoles, hidden in the electronics store, shut down their communications. Toy cars drove under their feet, exploding with small but powerful blasts. Stuffed animals with hidden speakers played frequencies that confused their sensors. The aliens tried to retreat, but Yunhua's plants had already grown across the exits. The garden defense network had turned the mall's garden center into a jungle of moving vines and branches. "They're running," someone shouted. Through the glass roof, they could see the alien ships turning away. Kim Sun watched as the last alien troops fled the mall. Not a single store had been destroyed. They had won using only shopping items. "This is more than a victory," Dr. Han said, looking around at their strange but effective weapons. "This proves that everything humanity makes can be used to defend humanity." The news spread quickly. Soon, every shopping mall in the world became a fortress. Store owners and shopkeepers joined the resistance, turning their products into weapons. The aliens couldn't understand it. How could they fight an enemy that turned shopping centers into fortresses? How could they win against people who saw weapons in everyday items? In the mall's security room, Kim Sun watched the alien ships retreat on the monitors. Around her, people were already restocking their unusual weapons. "The aliens thought our civilization was weak because we spent time making things like toys and beauty products," she said. "They didn't understand that making these things made us stronger, not weaker." She picked up a small stuffed bear with a hidden sensor inside. "Everything humans make shows how creative we are, and creative people are the hardest to defeat." Dr. Han stood in front of a huge screen in the UN Command Center. On it, dots of light showed human resistance groups all over the world. Each dot represented people fighting aliens with everyday items turned into weapons. "The aliens are losing," he told the world leaders. "They can't understand why their advanced weapons fail against our simple ones." Kim Sun stepped forward with her latest discovery. "We found their weakness," she said. "The aliens think in straight lines. They can't handle it when humans get creative." On another screen, Song Mei showed videos from around the world. In Brazil, coffee makers had become steam weapons. In India, spice markets turned their products into chemical weapons. Australian surfers used modified surfboards to sink alien ships. "Every culture has its own way of fighting back," Song Mai explained. "The aliens can't predict what we'll use next because every country surprises them with new ideas." The kitchen brigade had grown into a worldwide network. Restaurants everywhere shared recipes for weapons, not food. Li Jin talked to chefs in France, Italy, and Thailand, teaching them how to turn their cooking tools into alien fighting machines. Yesterday, a sushi chef in Japan took down an alien walker with modified rice cookers, Li Jin reported, and a pizza maker in Italy used his ovens to melt alien armor. Yunhua's garden defense network spread too. Countries shared seeds and fertilizer formulas. The Amazon rainforest became a no-fly zone for alien ships. African savannas grew plants that could trap alien vehicles. "Nature is on our side," Yunhua said. "Every plant on Earth wants to protect its home." Song Mi's gaming teams connected with players worldwide. Teenagers in every country reprogrammed their consoles and phones. The aliens couldn't use their communication systems anywhere without getting hacked. "We found something interesting," Song Mai said, showing a new screen. "The lower-ranked aliens are starting to admire humans. Some of them think we're smarter than their leaders." This was big news. Dr. Han had noticed alien ships sometimes missed their targets on purpose. Now they knew why. Some aliens were secretly helping humans. "It's time," Kim Sun said. "We're ready for the big attack." The plan was huge but simple. Every country would attack at the same time, using all their modified everyday items. The aliens wouldn't be able to fight back everywhere at once. They picked a date, next Tuesday at noon Korean time. As the Earth turned, each country would join the attack when their clocks hit noon. It started in New Zealand. Modified farming equipment attacked alien ships. Then Australia joined with their surfboard weapons. Japan and Korea attacked next, using everything they had learned. The wave of attacks moved west. China used modified bicycles as mobile weapons. India's spice weapons filled the air. Middle Eastern oil workers turned their equipment against the aliens. African nations attacked with weapons made from mining tools. Europe joined with everything from modified coffee machines to car parts. When noon reached the Americas, the attacks had been going for hours. The aliens were already confused and scared. "Look," Song Mai said, pointing at her screens. The alien ships were breaking formation. Many were flying away from Earth. Others were sending surrender signals. In the command center, everyone watched as the aliens retreated. Humans had won using the things they made for everyday life. "We didn't just beat them," Dr. Han said. "We showed them something important. True power isn't about having the biggest weapons. It's about being able to see the power in simple things." Kim Sun nodded. "And about working together. Every culture, every country added something to this victory." Around the world, people celebrated. Restaurants served victory meals with the same tools they had used as weapons. Gardens bloomed where alien ships had crashed. Games played victory songs on consoles that had helped win the war. Earth had won by being exactly what it was, a planet of creative, resourceful humans who could turn anything into a way to protect their home. John walked down the quiet street. The sky was getting dark. He needed to find a place to rest for the night. As he turned the corner, he saw a small house with a light in the window. John knocked on the door. An old woman opened it. She looked at John with kind eyes. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I'm looking for a place to stay the night," John said. "I don't have much money, but I can work for a room." The woman smiled. "Come in, dear. I have an extra room. And I could use some help around the house." John thanked the woman. He came inside the cozy home. It was warm and inviting. Much better than another night on the cold streets. "I'm Mary," the woman said. "Let me show you to your room." She led John to a small bedroom. "This is very kind of you," John said. He set down his bag. "You look hungry," Mary said. "I'll make us some dinner. Then tomorrow you can help me with some chores." John smiled. He felt very lucky to meet Mary. Life on the road was hard. He hoped this was the start of something better. After a tasty meal, John thanked Mary again. He said good night and went to the bedroom. The bed was soft and comfortable. For the first time in a long time, John fell asleep feeling safe and cared for. That passage is 223 words, written in simple English from a third-person perspective to continue an interesting story. Let me know if you would like me to expand the story further or change anything about the style or content. I'm happy to adapt it to your needs.